Man, what is going on, my NG family? How's you guys doing today, man? And we are finna watch, because you already know how we do. We finna watch the 9 luckiest people who survived the impossible #2. I ain't even gonna lie to you. This came on my feed and I was like, hold on, that's actually interesting. I think my NG family might actually be interested in watching something like this. You know, we usually watch our short films and things like that, but we actually been watching a lot of things differently. You know, we gotta we gotta find some other people in some other communities and take them, and we gotta steal them and bring them to this motherfucking community. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta take them and take them to this community. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Alright, but yeah, man. Hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video and you can join a better community. A better community. Because this is like the top tier community. You feel me? You feel me? But yeah, man. Let's get into the video, man. Yeah.
Fully submerged in the ice-cold water, under a thick layer of ice, but still conscious, the skier's body temperature dropped to a record low of below 14 degrees Celsius. The woman had no chance of survival, when suddenly, her pulse got going again. In this video, I'll share 8 incredible survival stories that are hard to—
This motherfucker live! He said 9! Was he counting the person that he just said? 9, motherfucker. Man.
believe. Viewer discretion is advised. A British parachuting instructor, Michael Holmes, was preparing for his 3rd jump in a day. He double-checked his gear and had his colleagues recheck it for him. Michael had around 7,000 successful jumps under his belt. On that day, in 2006, the instructor was supposed to film a tandem flight over the New Zealand town of Taupo. When the plane reached an altitude of 4,600 meters, the skydivers jumped. Michael circled the tandem couple to take the best photos and then opened his—
That was your problem. That was your problem in the beginning. You jumped from 15,000 feet. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some people that get the adrenaline rush from this, I never understood. Bro, you're 15,000 feet in the air hoping on a parachute, which is very safe from what I heard. But again, 15,000 feet is crazy. I'm just saying. I'm joking.
parachute. However, instead of a steady descent, the man got caught up in a violent swirl. The parachute got tangled and wouldn't open. So, the man detached it to open the extra one. Its canopy wouldn't detach for some reason though, and Holmes continued falling. He wanted to cut off the suspension lines with a knife, but was unable to raise his arms due to the speed of the fall. Michael barely managed to look at his altimeter and realized he was done for.
Oh, that's
6
actual
more
video?
seconds passed, and Michael Holmes hit the ground. But when Michael's friend landed nearby, he saw Holmes lying in a blackberry bush, fully conscious. The man was immediately taken to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with a crushed left foot and ankle, on which he landed, as well as broken ribs and a punctured lung. But if Michael had fallen directly onto the ground or into the water from such a height, he would have most likely died on the spot. It was a coincidence that saved his life.
That's crazy.
But no bush will save you if you've crashed inside an active volcano. In November of 1992,
What the hell?
cinematographers Michael Benson and Chris Duddy went to film a volcanic cone named Pu'u'o'o on the Hawaiian Islands. One of Hollywood's best pilots, Craig Hosking, agreed to take them to the mouth of an active volcano. But the moment they approached the crater, the helicopter started falling right into the volcano. Everyone on board was preparing to die.
See, that's why, and that's not even a plane, but that's why I don't like being in the motherfucking air. I don't like being in the air because you have no control over what happens. No control. If the propeller breaks, if the wing breaks, if the jet engine breaks, you just kiss your little ass goodbye. You're gone. You're done. Fuck it, you're done. Sometimes you survive it, but majority of the time you're fucking done. You're done.
Die. However, by some miracle, the helicopter didn't end up plunging into the fiery lava.
That's
Instead,
crazy.
it fell onto the hard ground. Moreover, the people remained virtually intact in the air crash. The scene of the disaster turned out to be located in the very spot where fresh air was flowing into the crater. Otherwise, the men would have choked on the poisonous gases produced by the volcano. These coincidences saved their lives. Apart from that, they were only 90 meters below the crater top, so things didn't seem that bad. It was an illusion, however. When the men tried to climb the slope, they got badly injured by the spiky hot stones. Moreover, the lightest touch made the stones shift, so the people were at risk of falling into the boiling lava every second. The thick gases and vapors stopped the men from seeing anything, so they soon lost track of each other. Pilot Craig Hosking miraculously managed to get back to the crashed helicopter and call for rescuers. The rescue team, in its turn, was just as lucky to notice and pick the pilot up on the same day. Benson and Duddy, on the other hand, were stuck on the wall and spent the following night in agony, listening to the sounds of lava boiling at 1,000 degrees Celsius beneath them.
Damn!
The following morning, Chris Duddy dared to climb higher, but Michael Benson deemed it too dangerous and stayed where he was. A few hours later, something like a human body swooshed past him and fell into the lava. The man got overtaken by despair. He was barely holding on upon a tiny ledge, convinced that his friends had died and that he was going to follow suit. Benson spent 2 days without food in the pouring rain. When the man felt he just couldn't go on anymore, a rescue net suddenly appeared near him, lowered from a helicopter. Moreover, Benson was told that all his friends were alive. The thing that flew past him the day before was a rescue package thrown from a helicopter.
What?
Chris Duddy had safely climbed out of the volcano, 27
Bro,
hours.
imagine, like, you don't even see your friends and all y'all got that crazy survival instinct and you just like, bro, I gotta survive on my own, but I know my friends got this shit. This is like some Marvel shit, bro. Like, just think about it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not getting burnt in no lava. I don't care how bad my legs, how bad my ankles hurt, bro. That's 1,800 degrees. Bro, you see how hot the stove is, bro. You probably won't even feel it because your nerves and stuff would already be gone. But, bro, viewer discretion is advised.
Hours after the crash. So, it turns out that a string of coincidences can save your life, even when the laws of physics are stacked against you. A worker from England managed to win a battle against a machine that even the Terminator would have lost. On the day before Christmas 2008, a man named Matthew Lowe was working his factory shift. He was passing by an automized conveyor belt when he noticed his overalls get caught on something. Then, a horrible thing happened. Lowe fell onto the conveyor belt, which started pulling him toward a 13-centimeter opening in a structure. In just a few seconds, the man's entire body disappeared into the narrow tunnel. Only his head remained outside on the other side of the machine. The only thing Matthew had the time to do was to hear the cracking of his bones and think this was the end for him. The machine spewed Lowe's broken body out on the other side, but the man remained conscious. Then, the horrific pain kicked in, and Matthew started screaming. When the other workers ran into the room, they froze with terror. Lowe's back was broken in 2 places. His pelvis, ribs, and both hips were almost completely crushed, and the abdomen, with the internal organs, was torn. Matthew was immediately taken to the hospital, and his partner was advised to prepare for the worst. However, despite all the doctors' predictions, Lowe fought for his life, spending a month at the hospital and going through 6 surgeries. The surgeons literally stitched the man's body back together. And in just 18 months, Matthew could return to work, although he was transferred to a different position. The only things reminding him of the catastrophe were the weakness in his right arm and occasional panic attacks. Lowe's story fully deserved.
Man, you ain't lying, bro. If that happened to me, bro, I'm not going back to that same position. I don't give a damn. I would leave that job. I would go to McDonald's. Nothing's wrong with McDonald's, but I would go to McDonald's before I go back to a place that almost split me and backdoored me all the way through. Actually, matter of fact, it did backdoor me. I'm not going back. Move me, motherfucker.
Deserves to be recreated in a sci-fi movie regarding a case that happened to Stephen McCormick. It already happened on screen. On May 21st, 2011, in the town of Opatiki, New Zealand, Mr. McCormick, an experienced driver, was tinkering with his truck. He was right between the car's bumper and a trailer when he slipped and fell. But instead of regular pain, he felt his body blow up like a balloon, getting twice as big. The man's colleagues and his grown-up son came running when they heard his screams. As it turned out, McCormick had fallen onto a brass valve that supplied compressed air to the car's brakes.
I seen this off of
911. It
911.
punctured the man's buttock, and the pressurized gas entered his body. McCormick's colleagues managed to cut off the air supply and lay the man on the ground. However, as it turned out, the only 2 emergency cars were busy, and Stephen had to spend an entire hour waiting for the medics. When the man got to the hospital, it became clear that the air had separated the fat tissue from the muscles and filled the entire space in the abdomen, the chest, around the lungs and the heart, and even behind Stephen's eyelids. The doctors had to push a hose between the ribs right to the lungs so that the man would be able to breathe. The air in his body had to go out the natural way. After this, McCormick was discharged from the hospital completely healthy, and the only reminder of the incident was a puncture in his buttock. The doctors noted that if the valve had hit any other body part, it could have damaged a blood vessel, and then Stephen McCormick would have died. The man was saved by a total coincidence and couldn't have influenced the situation in any way. A tourist from Australia, on the other hand, had to decide whether he'd fight for his own life or not. On a Sunday morning in September of 2019, a 54-year-old man went on a short hike to Mount Nebo near Brisbane, Australia. Neil Parker was a seasoned member of the Brisbane Bushwalkers Club and took all the necessary gear with him. Moreover, he'd repeatedly walked that...
Bro, look how beautiful that is. Like, honestly, I want you to take a moment of silence, and just think. Just think, hear me out on this. You and your girl, y'all are standing up here, right? And, you know, the women too, and just getting bent over and just going crazy. Like, just think about that. Like, nobody in sight, nobody to see, but butt cheeks and...
that same route, so the thought of telling anyone where he was going didn't even cross his mind. 1 hour and 40 minutes into his hike, he had already started a familiar ascent onto the mountain near a waterfall. Yet for some reason, the normally reliable rocks suddenly started shifting under Neil Parker's feet, and he plunged downward. The man fell 6 meters into a shallow creek, snapping his left leg in half above the ankle and crushing his left wrist. Neil tried to get his cell phone out of his pocket, but it slipped into the water. Then Parker realized he could neither call for help nor expect to be searched for.
That's why you need an
His
iPhone
only
14.
option was to get out himself. Neil used his hiking poles to splint his leg and started crawling. It was so hard, however, that he had to rest after every meter he conquered. Yet Parker continued crawling, stopping from time to time to eat something and take painkillers. Only 2 days later, on Monday, when Neil Parker didn't show up at work, the search operation began. By some miracle, someone recalled the man mentioning his plan of going to the mountains. But a helicopter wasn't dispatched until Tuesday morning. Quite soon, the rescuers noticed a man in a creek bed. He was waving something colorful over his head. As it turned out, not only did Neil Parker survive, he'd also climbed for over 3 kilometers from the spot where he'd fallen. He was hoisted aboard the helicopter and transported to the hospital. The doctors admitted that making a splint out of hiking poles was a genius idea. Here's what I think. Neil Parker's situation was horrible, but he had immense experience, food, and painkillers. 28-year-old James Grimes, on the other hand, had to get out of a similar plight without even firm ground under his feet. On November 23, 2022, a man got aboard a cruise liner in New Orleans to celebrate the upcoming Thanksgiving. After sundown, James had a few cocktails and decided to go to the bathroom. The next moment, the man regained consciousness only to find himself in the boundless waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Grimes started panicking. He couldn't recall falling off the ship and didn't know what to do.
Bro, like, sitting there, like, in the dark, in the ocean, it's just ridiculous. I understand he had no intention of being stuck in the ocean, but, bro, like, it's so dark. Like, even when you be on the beach and you're kind of relaxing, bro, just looking out into the abyss, it's so damn dark. Like, it's dark as fuck. You can't see nothing. Nothing. Bro.
At first, the man hoped his absence would get noticed soon, and the line would come back to get him. But after spending the entire night in the water, he realized it wouldn't happen. During that time, a large group of jellyfish badly stung James's body, and when the sun rose, new trials awaited Grimes. He noticed a fin nearby and went pale with terror. A shark was approaching him. Then something touched his foot. He kicked it hard, held his breath, and prepared to die. But nothing happened, and the shark, if it was one, never returned. Suddenly, James saw 2 ships on the horizon. He swam toward them for hours, thinking of his 9-year-old daughter and coming up with songs for her. All the while, the ruthless sun was burning Grimes' skin, and when James had already spent 20 hours in the water, and was losing hope of ever seeing his family again. A lifeline landed near him. The man used all of his remaining energy to try and grab it, but the mighty waves did not allow him to. Eventually, a Coast Guard helicopter started circling over James. Rescuers took hold of him. One of them noticed that Grimes had 1 minute at most before dying of hypothermia in the ice-cold water. But I don't think this is the most incredible story in this video.
What?
Do you believe it's possible to get caught in a storm at a cruising altitude and survive? On February 14th,
I'm not gonna lie to you, it has to be some crazy shit to be. Oh, it's raining bad as hell outside. But just think about it. You're stuck in the ocean 20 hours. That means you just sitting there floating 20 hours. Do you know how hard? Bro, I can't even float for 10 minutes without being tired. But I mean, when you got something you fight, I mean, I would fight to see my family, but like, you know, your daughter and stuff like that, bro. 20 hours though? Hey, bro, in my personal opinion, bro, that's the best one. The best one.
1907, in the small Australian town of Manila, a world skydiving champion, Eva Wisniewska, was preparing to defend her title for the nth time. The sky was absolutely clear that day, despite forecasts of a violent storm. However, when the woman took to the sky, the weather quickly deteriorated and clouds appeared around her. Eva directed her paraglider under one of them when suddenly she felt a fierce, invisible force get a hold of her. At a speed of 20 meters per second, the woman was flying upward, right into the storm's epicenter. This is a natural phenomenon called cloud suck, when the warm air from beneath suddenly rises to the cold air. First, Eva only saw lightning bolts around her, and then she was completely covered by the pitch-black darkness.
What?
The abrupt pressure change caused the woman to go unconscious. She couldn't feel the hail hit her while the 50-degree frost was covering her skin with ice. In the end, Eva was sucked onto almost the cruising altitude of a jet plane. 9,947 meters.
What the fuck?
There's so little oxygen there that the human body starts literally dying cell by cell. For Eva, this meant almost 100% certainty of death. Yet, almost an hour later, the woman came around and realized she was now hurtling toward death on a paraglider that was out of control. At some point, Eva's descent speed reached 33 meters per second, but suddenly, the fall slowed down, and the athlete managed to land only 60 kilometers away from where she'd started. The woman's entire body was covered in bruises from the hail, and she had severe frostbite on her face, ears, and extremities. Wisniewska's survival has been compared to winning the lottery 10 times in a row. It was nothing short of a miracle. However, I've saved the most incredible story for the very end. Not even doctors can explain how Anna Bogenholm managed to come back to life. In May of 1999, a Swedish radiologist was skiing in the mountains near Narvik in Norway. She was an experienced skier, had been on those slopes multiple times before, and was accompanied by her 2 colleagues. Yet none of this spared her from a tragic coincidence. On that day, Anna lost control of her skis and fell. The woman landed on her back in a frozen stream,
Here's the first
broke
one.
20 centimeters of ice with her head, and her entire body sank into the water. Only Bogenholm's feet and skis remained above the surface. Anna's colleagues immediately rushed to help her, but failed to get the woman out of her ice trap, so they called the rescuers. Panicked, Bogenholm was thrashing against the ice when suddenly she managed to find an air pocket nearby and start breathing again. She spent 40 minutes like that, fully conscious and awaiting rescue. However, she never managed to see it. She passed out, and her colleagues were unable to tell whether Anna was still alive. Yet the rescuers took another 40 minutes to get...
So wait, if her legs was out and everything, how could they not pull her back up? Right?
the woman out of the water. So, she had no chance of survival. When Bogenholm was brought to the hospital, her body temperature had hit a new record low in the history of medicine, 13.7 degrees Celsius. A few hours the doctors spent trying to resuscitate the woman yielded no results. However, in the cold country of Norway, medical practitioners have a rule: to warm the patient up before declaring their death. So, a team of over 100 specialists worked in shifts for 9 hours, trying to bring Anna's body temperature back to normal, when suddenly her pulse reappeared. This seemed absolutely impossible, but the doctors weren't too quick to be optimistic. Bogenholm had been dead for too long. and the human brain experiences irreversible damage after 20 minutes without oxygen at the longest. However, Anna spent the following 35 days connected to a ventilator and regained consciousness. It's incredible, but no damage was found in her brain, yet the woman was paralyzed below her neck. 29-year-old Anna was aghast at the idea of spending the rest of her life bedridden and was very angry with the doctors for having saved her at all. However, after another month in intensive care and lengthy rehabilitation, Anna Bagenholm had an almost complete recovery. Most people who go through hypothermia don't survive, even if doctors manage to get their heart going again. What happened to Anna is a medical miracle. I've told you so many stories like this that I wonder sometimes, can they be explained away by a mere coincidence?
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, if she had it in her will to, not save her, I understand that. But them motherfucking doctors took 9-hour shifts each, and multiple of them to protect you. So you better be grateful, and I know you are now. So you be alright.
Get online in.
Stop it. You be alright now. But hey man, if y'all enjoyed that video and y'all enjoyed I actually forgot the name of it. Hold on one sec. I actually forgot the name of it. Oh yeah, if you like 9 luckiest people who survived the impossible, hashtag number 2 ugly. Y'all make sure y'all leave a subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, also hit that thumbs up so like I said, the videos can be pushed out and more people can find the NG family and have a community to go to. Cause like I said, we're building. We're on the matter of fact, that we're on the road to 200 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. It's your boy TheRealPsw. Until the next video, I can't find my record button.